In Oakboro?
Yeah, prearranged drag race. I started. We went down there. We'd always everybody meet in Oakboro about midnight,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd race right there in front of JC's Grill up by the Oakboro Schoolhouse and everything.
JC's Grill. Is that where Tammy's is now?
Well, JC moved down there, but JC's Grill was there where Oakboro used car lot. I think
Where
car.
Lums used to be?
Yeah,
Back when I got my Vega.
yeah, and but see, JC's Grill was an old little grill, wasn't big and all that was parking lot down
Oh,
there
okay.
and everything. And that night that law called us when I got called for pre-ride. I know the law told when he was a witness on the stand, he said they told the judge. He said they must have been 100 cars there. It
Oh,
was
wow.
you couldn't get parking, but Kenneth had this little 50 Oldsmobile, and he put a 98 engine in it. And that don't tell you nothing unless somebody knows the car. But a 98, see, all the Oldsmobiles back in the old days was 88s,
Oh.
88 Rockets. And the Oldsmobile was fast back in them days. But Kenneth, a 98 was just a bigger car and faster car. But Kenneth found this motor, and he had this little Oldsmobile, and he had put that 98 motor in that little 88 body. It's a 50 Oldsmobile. And so we went down there that night, and I got down there, and I don't know how many runs but anyhow, me and Junior Gal had a '57 Chevrolet Bel Air Sport Scoot with power pack and all that stuff, and we was talking back and forth something or other. Anyhow, uh, they wanted to run the Oldsmobile. I run somebody in the Oldsmobile. I can't remember now who I run first. But come up and we're gonna run 57. 57 about outrun everything so far that night. And we pulled out in the road there right in front of the grill, right about in front of the tractor place where the tractor place is down there. We'll pull out
Mm-hmm.
at the low edge of the parking lot of the cafe.
Right.
And we lined up. And about the time we got lined up, here come this car. So we had to pull out of the road. Well, when we pulled out of the road, here comes this pink and white '59 Ford.
Ooh.
And that was a pretty car then.
I bet
'59
so.
Fords was pretty cars, but it was a rosy pink.
Mm-hmm.
That was Ford color at that time. And I pulled up in the there, and we pulled out of the yard. And people pulled out of the road, back down the road, and Larry Carpenter was driving Junior's car, and we we backed out in the road, and I was trying to think who was riding with me. Somebody was riding with me, and we lined up. They got out there, and we had a flagman right there in the middle.
Y'all was bona fide.
Yeah, we was doing it. I mean, we were. Because see, back then there wasn't no law. We took off, and what way we done, we'd take off and there at the tractor place and run up to the upper road of the schoolhouse, and that would be our return area coming back. Anyhow, when we got up there, I outrun the '57 Chevrolet, and we got up to the end, and I turned in, and the '57 turned in behind me. Well, I was coming back down through there real slow, that circle drive of the schoolhouse, coming back down.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes that '59 Ford. And I was I'm still trying to think who was riding with me. But I said, well, this is going to be an easy one. Because they never did make a '59 Ford to run. And he'd holding his hand out the window, motioned me to stop. Well, I had done got my brakes hot on the old Oldsmobile, and it was just rolling along, just like it's chug-a-lugging, trying to get it stopped. And all of a sudden, he jerked my door open, and it was a highway patrol.
Oh.
And he said, "You're under arrest for prearranged drag racing." See, we watched. They watched us get out of the road and then line back up. And we got a flagman flagging us. They wouldn't have, well, see, at that time, they didn't lock us up, though. That's it, back then, it ain't like law is today, but they give me a ticket and all that stuff, and I had to appear in court, and, Larry, he got a lawyer. He got Hugh Morton. Well, Daddy wouldn't even go with me to court. Daddy said, I didn't get you into it, and you can get yourself out of it. And so we went into court that Monday morning, everything, and they caught Hugh and Larry and them called me to come around there and talk to him in Hugh's office. Went around and he said, Hugh asked me, he said, will you witness for us? And I said, well, yeah, what you want me to say? He said, first off, I'm going to ask you, he's going to ask me what time of the night it was. Was it dark? And it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, yeah. Anyhow, windows in the car, yeah, and everything, and no way you could see who was driving that car next door to you. And I said, no. Dismissed. But it was Larry's case that I was telling that on.
Oh.
They had done tried me. See, Larry run. He come out in that 57 Chevy.
So you got punished, but he got out of it. Am I understanding?
Yeah. But see, the judge, McSwain was the judge. He called me up to the counter. Come up here. See, Grandpa went with me to court.
Papa Drake.
Yeah, Papa Drake. He went with me to court. And see, to me, I'm guilty.
Right.
They got eyewitnesses, and they got me. And Judge McSwain called me up he said, Paige, I hate to do this. He says, but you come in here and you pleaded guilty. And he says, there's nothing I can do. But the other boy, I had to set him free a while ago, because you told that it was night, dark, and all that stuff, and you couldn't see him. And he couldn't see you, and nobody has witnessed that they seen you.
Oh, man.
He said, but you pleaded guilty, and said, I got no alternative.
So what'd he give you?
He took my license for 20 months. And
how'd that work out?
Oh, God. I got caught again. And
Drag racing or driving without the license?
Driving without, like 3 days I had my license back.
Oh, no.
And got caught for
Did you drive the whole time without them?
Yeah, I drove to Washington, D.C. From Washington, D.C. home 3 times with no license.
And got caught?
Got caught.
You think they was waiting on you and knew that you'd been driving, or was they?
No.
You just got caught?
Just got caught. Stop and tell me a headlight was out. Yeah, right there. As you come out of West Oakburg Church, coming down the hill there, I drive a Whitey Yow's old Plymouth. And I was taking an old girl home that had. And Robert Presley, bless his heart, is dead and gone. Whitey had Robert to go with me, so if we got called or something, I could switch drivers, and we switched drivers. And Morton, the Highway Patrol Morton, he said, y'all switch drivers. I said, I know that boy there is so much bigger. He said, Robert was a big old boy. But we switched drivers right on top of the hill while his lights was flickering on him. And they couldn't approve that, no way. But see, now where I'm at today and knowing that then. But Robert, we went to court, and my lawyer just laughed. He said, this ain't nothing. You ain't going to. And we got in the courtroom that morning, on Monday morning again. We was pretty regular on Monday morning. And
there's a lot of regulars up on Monday.
He started, Robert was crying.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, tears run down his cheek. And he said, my daddy and mama told me I'd come down here and got on the stand and lied and tell them that he was driving, me not even come home. And Hugh Morton was my lawyer. And he said, Hugh looked at me and he said, there ain't no use. We don't want to go to court with this. He said, they'll have you for, lying in court?
Perjury.
Perjury. He said, they'll hang us. He said, that boy right there,
Right.
Look what kind of shape he's in. We ain't even in the courtroom.
Yeah, you ain't even got in the door yet.
Yeah. So
He sounds like me. I can't lie. I'd be in there crying.
I had to plead guilty to that.
Well, what about Hayes? Trooper Hayes.
Oh Lord, Hayes.
You and Hayes had a relationship, didn't you?
First time Hayes caught me and give me a break. I went and got your mama a can of beer over there at the bootleg joint on City Drive, just to fix her hair.
I was finna say, what was Mama gonna do with the beer?
Fix her hair.
Wash it in the beer.
Yeah, wash it in the beer. And they was trying to, had them places under surveillance and everything, and I pulled out down through there, and they stopped me. Said, you got anything in this car? And I said, yeah, I got a beer. Where'd you get it? And I said, well, I've had it or something like that. But anyhow, they didn't charge me for it. But old Hayes just died laughing. He said, you got it for what? I said, I got it for my wife to fix her hair with. He said, I reckon I've heard everything in the world, but I ain't never heard that. But where Hayes really gave me a break 2 times. When you was born, I was coming from your mama had stayed in labor from about 11:30 on Saturday night to about midnight on Sunday night. She'd been in labor all that time.
That sounds oddly
Well, you was
familiar.
finally born and everything, and I was kind of dreading to go home and everything, and I went to Gastonia. And I had that little 55 Ford, and JC had put that 390 motor in it and everything, and I went to Gastonia that night. Joe Gray and I forget who all the boys I was working with at the time. We had a few drinks and everything, and I was coming back down the road about 1 o'clock in the morning, and or it might have been a little later, probably later than that, 1 o'clock. I can't remember that. But anyhow, I come down the hill there at Bear Creek, and I said, I'm gonna just see how the little 55 will run down this hill. And I opened that thing up, and it just 55 speedometer sets up on top of the dash, and that thing just went on over to 120 mile an hour. When I got to down there at the creek, there sat 2 highway patrols.
Oh no!
I like to blow them off the road, and here they come. I said, "Oh my Lord!" And I said, "Well, I got to get off this road. I mean, they'll have something blocking me." And I got down there at Indy Luncheonette.
Right.
They used to be on the left. And I locked her down. When I went around the curve there, I locked her down and got her sliding sideways and got her turned. And when I turned and went out, what is that?
Indy Road.
Indy Road. When I turned out Indy Road, I choked it. It went dead. Well, I started getting it in neutral and everything, getting it cranked and everything. And about the time I got it cranked, there's one highway patrol behind me and one in front. And lo and behold, Hayes and what was that other one's name? And they got out of the car, and old Hayes come around. They come around. I just got out and everything. And I'll never forget, I just reached in my pocket and I told Hayes, have a cigar. I had some cigars for you being born. And gave him a cigar, and he said, Paige, what in the world was you doing? I said, well, I've been out celebrating my new baby. And I said, my wife, they're at the hospital doing fine. I didn't want to go home, so I didn't. And he said, do you know how fast you're running when you come down that hill? I said, I have no idea. He said, well, I don't know either. We ain't got numbers to tell you that. He said, told that other highway patrol, said, you go back down there, I'll take care of him. I know Paige here, so go on, I'll take care of him. And he wrote me a ticket for driving too fast for conditions. Yeah, nothing, not much more than a parking ticket.
Oh,
well,
you was lucky.
Then a few years later, no, that was before. He had done that. This was after, because you wasn't born when he gave me that first break. was up there at the car lot at Locust, there where CBS is,
Mm-hmm.
and I had bought that little 55 from JC with that 348 in and everything. And I was working on it out there in cleaning the motor and doing something. Anyhow, I decided to try it out down the road, and I got there at Locust School down that hill, and I just eye-opener up. Them three carburetors, oh, they sound good, you know. Down that hill I went there at Locust, going down towards the old fish camp. I was running about 110 that curve down there, and I was just fishtailing just about when I went in the curve there. I said, Hayes.
Oh.
I didn't do a thing in the world but just knock it out of gear. Got up there on Barbie Road, turned back to the
Mm-hmm.
I turned in up there, and there come Hayes, that big Dodge. He come whooping in there and everything, and he got out and he said, "Oh no, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I just been testing her." He said, "Did you know how fast you doing when you come down that hill there?" I said, "No." He said, "I could hear you coming for a half a mile." He said, "But," I said, "What in the world is that?" And said, "Here comes this car." And he said, "All I could hear is carburation." And I said, "Yeah." He said, stood there and talked to me a little bit. He said, "Well, you know, I got to give you something, because I done called it in." He said, "I didn't figure I'd ever see you again." He said, he said, "I didn't know who it was, to tell you the honest truth. But said, when I turned in, I seen you, you know, and everything." He said, "But I figured if you hadn't turned in up there, I'd probably never seen you again, because you were so far ahead of me." And give me a ticket for too fast conditions.
Good gracious.
Mm-hmm. And then he give me that one when you was born, too fast conditions. I bet they thought, boy, he drives on a lot of rough roads.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But Hayes did me that. He did that.
Well, you wasn't driving dangerous, like you weren't endangering the public. There was nobody out there.
Yeah.
So.
Hayes, I reckon he's still alive now. See, his son is the chief of police highway patrols in Union County.
Is he really? Doug is?
Yeah.
I went to elementary school with him. I hadn't
Yeah.
seen him since I was a kid, but I went to elementary school with him.
JC talks about him, used to quite a bit.
Oh.
And but I don't know if Melton's still alive or not.
I don't have any idea. I hadn't seen Doug since middle school, so.
Well, that's like Joel Hartzell running from Hayes. Joel had that 56 Ford with that 427 in it. And Hayes got after him up here at Locust. And he run him to Rocky River Bridge down yonder. And when he got to Rocky River Bridge, Joel went across the bridge, and there ain't no better driver in the country than Joel Hartzell. And when Joel went across the river bridge, he pulled over. He said he gained on me on every curve. And you could go down there and you'd see two black marks going around this curve and two right behind him. Or, you know.
So Hayes was gaining on him at every curve?
He said Hayes was gaining on me on every curve. He said, "I know that." He said, "I don't know what he'll do." And that 56 would fly. But that big highway patrol car was hitting up there. But see, back then, I don't know if they still do that or not, but see, highway patrol cars back used to have highway patrol tires on them,
Yeah.
engines in them.
I'm thinking Hayes chose a job doing what you like to do. He just got to do it legally.
Yeah.